Wow, what a beautiful brown. Welcome everyone, my name is Phil Rowley and I'd like to welcome you to my fly tying bench where I'm going to show you how I tie some of my favorite stillwater fly patterns to help you catch beautiful fish just like this one. Thanks for joining me at my tying bench. I'm going to show you how to tie one of my favorite fall patterns, the Water Floatman. Here is what you'll need. So let's tie the Water Floatman. We're going to start by attaching our tying thread just behind the hook eye. Trimming away the tag end. And then covering the shank with tying thread to provide a firm thread base so our materials don't roll around. Move the tying thread forward slightly so it's ready to tie in the shell back. For the shell back, we're going to use a round foam bar, short section. You could also use standard 2 or 3 millimeter sheet foam. 2 millimeter would be better. And taking the scissors, position the foam bar right up from one end to the other, and I'm just going to cut that and so that I now have 2 halves of the foam bar. We're going to use one for this fly, and of course now I have a second half for a second fly. I'm going to take one end and just trim to a bit of a point. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it just aids the tie-in. Lay this on top of the shank, round side down, so when we pull that forward over the body, we'll have that nice rounded side facing outward. And just secure that back down. Secure that in place. Now when you make sure that you have enough so that foam will make the trip forward, because it's got to come right over the body, so you don't want to secure too much. We're going to tie in the body, so we're just going to take some pearlescent crystal chenille, strip away and then secure that in place. Wind the tying thread forward so it's about the 2/3 mark on the hook shank, and that's where we're going to tie in our leg material. The legs are made with super floss, so I've got a short section here of kind of an amber brown coloration. A light tan or a light olive is another good color. You want to match the local water boatman you see in your waters. And we're just going to use figure 8 wraps of thread to secure these legs in place. Don't worry if they're too long right now, because we're going to trim them up to length later. So we're just going to bring our tying thread forward. Take our crystal chenille. I like to make one complete wrap right at the base. All these legs out of the way. So it's around. Support the hook. I pull on it. I actually spin the crystal chenille between my thumb and forefinger, tightening it. That makes those strands stand out a little better. No, I think they reflect light just that much better. And again, the natural boatman body can be yellowish, a light olive, a tan, almost the color of masking tape. But you've got to remember these are air-breathing insects. And as such, they trap and gather a bubble of air along their bodies, which they use as a little aqualung, if you will. And that's what they use to breathe when they're traveling around the bottom on their little forays. And then when they exhaust the air bubble, of course, they've got to come back up and replenish it. So I'm just going to bring this up, tie off the crystal chenille, once over top, once a couple times in front to lock it, trim away the excess. Make sure we're happy with our leg position. You can, if you like, come in and trim carefully across the top. And now we're just going to take our shellback material, that foam, pull on it a little bit, over the top, one loose turn, second, almost like a little elk hair caddis there, if you will, build up thread in front. Whip finish. Four or five times will be fine. Disengage. Trim. Tying part, my water floatman is complete. So now I'm just going to reposition it a bit. So you can see to tie the legs. Now when you trimming stretchy materials, you don't want to pull on it and trim while the material's under tension, because you're going to end up with legs shorter than you'd hoped. So I'm just going to support them. You can see they're loose. And I'm going to trim them maybe half a body length past the bend of the hook. And if anything, it's better to have slightly longer legs because they'll move better in the water. These imitate the prominent third set of legs that the water boatman uses to scull its way around the underwater world. There we go, the finished water boatman. You just have to apply a little head cement and you're ready to go. You want to fish this on the surface with a floating line, clear intermediate. Whenever boatmen and back swimmers are active, you want to make sure you have one of these flies on your line, because it's proven to be a great little pattern, particularly in the fall and early spring months when boatmen and back swimmers are active.